we'll call the meeting to order for the Angola Common Council, Monday, May 4th. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Coffey.
Present.
Councilmember Olson.
Here.
Councilmember Sharkey.
Here.
Councilmember Dow.
Here.
Councilmember McDermott.
Request approval of the April 20th, please.
I'll move.
And seconded.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unfinished business. Anybody have any unfinished business? I've got one small thing I'll pass on to you. We have been working with the county on the meeting, or the meetings, the must meetings that we have to have for the income tax distribution. And we hope to have those meetings started in the next couple of weeks. Volunteered the services of Kyler to manage and schedule those meetings, and we'll probably end up doing them up here in our conference room so people can join electronically if they like. But we are moving forward with those meetings. Any other unfinished business? New business, open bids for the Pokebosh South City Trail Project. Amanda, the floor is yours.
Right, first one is API. We did not get a bid from exterior service, so we can skip that one. API is $1,069,606, 1069606 and 0 cents. Next is Palmer Asphalt Paving. $1,176,272.25. 1176272.25. Next is Fleming Excavation. $1,923,694.37. 1923694.37. Next is Brooks Construction. $1,598,079. 1598079.0 Next is E&B Paving. $1,381,839. 1381839.0. And then we had one that was not on the list, and that is S&S Directional Boring. $1,411,550.11. 1411550.11. Those are all of those.
Quite a swing. What's the council's pleasure?
Was there an engineer's estimate?
Engineer's estimate was $1,580,986.
580?
1580986.
What is the length of it?
1.1 miles, I believe, approximately.
That gets us to the edge of the city of Angola.
Yes, that gets to the city limits very close to. The engineer that we selected is also designing the county trail. So our end is going to be their start. So we coordinated with that.
And I know you haven't had a chance to look at those bids, but one's almost double the lowest. Is something there we're missing? I mean, I didn't expect we're going to have that rain.
Without looking at it, it's hard to tell. I would tell you the bids are all over the place, just with the economy.
Okay.
The low bidder is working in the city. So that may take into consideration, fuel prices, smoke, demob, things like that.
I move we give this to the most responsive and responsible bidder.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Where is it going exactly?
So it'll start at Commons Park, essentially there, and it'll go by Henry Park to Felicity, and then South Wayne to city limits.
Okay. And you're gonna coordinate, just I'll ask, and the coordination with the county is just gonna be on the same side of the road.
We are actually crossing, so our trail on South Wayne is on the east side, and then before you get to Glen Beatty, to that weird Glen Beatty camp,
Gotcha.
we're crossing
Right there?
before you get to that intersection, so not at the intersection, because the county needs to be on the west side, and that seemed to be the safest spot to cross, where it's still
Just be
lower
lined there.
speed, and there will be a flashing light there.
Any other discussion?
Just clarification, this is supported through the Next Level Trails grant?
Correct.
Okay.
We received a grant 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
2 years ago, I would say.
Perfect, thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ordinance number 1799, 2026. An ordinance amending the Angola Municipal Code, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10.15, Traffic, Section 10.15, 160, Prohibited Turns. First reading. Amanda, you wanna give it a short?
Yes, so this is in coordination with the Serenova development that is under design and review right now. So as part of that development, the developer, which is Ken Wilson, who's here, had to do a traffic study for the city and for NDOT. And the results of that traffic study shows that there could be considerable traffic turning into Selman Drive. So the issue that we came up against in this traffic study, we could have queuing, we could have people going southbound on North Wayne trying to turn into Selman Drive, and enough of those vehicles that if you were going northbound and you wanted to turn into Woodhall, you couldn't because there's cars sitting there, which obviously is not a safe occurrence. So we had several meetings with NDOT and with the developer and his engineer. And so it really came down to two options that were feasible. One option was widening North Wayne by about 14 feet and having a two-lane left turn lane, which is not something that we have anywhere in the city. That would be a considerable cost to the developer. The other option was restricting attorney movement on Woodhall and not having left turn, essentially making Woodhall right in and right out only. We did a traffic count on Woodhall. There's about 400 cars a day, and they're largely coming at like 6 a.m., noon, and 3:30. So kind of tells us that those are employees that are going to those factories. So it doesn't seem to be, other than people learning new patterns, we're not hindering any of the developments there. We're not hindering truck traffic. It wouldn't think so. I think that is the best option, is to have this turning restriction to not put that burden on the developer. So that's the ordinance. That's kind of how we got here. And it needs your guys' approval to have a turning restriction.
How much out of the way is it for the people that want to turn left? It's their place to go.
So they would have to go up to Wendell Jacob. So they could go to Wendell Jacob and then turn and kind of go essentially around the block. If you're going northbound.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Southbound, you can still turn in.
Amanda, on future developments and what have you that come by. We're growing, and I'm a little concerned that we may have to look at widening lanes sometime in the future. Turn lanes. this is something though that could be done at a later date if it's proven that it's necessary, is that correct?
That would take coordination from NDOT, because ultimately it's NDOT's road, but in our conversations, I asked NDOT, is this a permanent solution for you guys? Like, you feel like this will solve the problems at this intersection, and NDOT said that they felt like it would.
Okay.
Obviously, if we have massive growth, we'd have to reexamine it, but for the plans that Ken has presented, this should handle all of the traffic for his development.
Are Ken's entrances and exits right into Woodhall? I mean, is it right there, or will that be some other place farther down?
His entrance onto Serenova is actually off of Selman Drive, so
That pulls into Meyer.
there
This is
isn't
Meyer.
going to be a new access point along North Wayne. It'll just be the cars that are wanting to turn onto Selman to then access his development that he's planning.
When do stoplights come into play?
There's different warrants, and so there's different requirements that you have to meet. I will tell you that the distance between Selman and Woodhall is too close, so there will never be a stoplight there per NDOT.
So there's only gonna be one entrance out of the Serenova development?
You want to answer that, or you want me to?
I'm sorry, Ken, I didn't mean to put you on it. I didn't mean to put you on it. There's only been one entrance?
So for this phase that is going through the approval process, yes, one entrance.
It's an access drive.
It's just
to all the other.
houses? It's just residential? It's
No,
commercial?
this is commercial. The first phase is commercial.
Eventually,
There is houses in part of this development that's been processed. This is a 5 to 7 year, if everything got matured within that 35 acres. We do have drawings, which is the next phase, to extend a roundabout, which is about the center of Serenova, to the south, to Northcrest.
And there'll be an entrance down there?
that's the goal.
There's a
Yeah.
lot
When?
of conversation that needs to acquire, that goes through the county detention pond, and there's private property, private drive. It's just a lot messier.
What is, I haven't seen the plan. What is the plans for residential? How many?
Well, so currently, right now, we only have allocated 16 acres to the north that potentially could be residential. So we haven't asked for anything else other than we're just preparing, making sure that our infrastructure is prepared for that, so that the east exit of that roundabout would go into that particular development.
But you don't have thought on how many
So
houses?
there was approximately 50 homes that could go in there under the current ordinance.
We've seen different plans with different
Yeah.
housing numbers.
But they're all gonna, but right now, they're all gonna go on to end up on Solomon Drive.
That's correct.
Yes.
And I think it's reasonable to say that this traffic study was a 7 to 10 year plan. Obviously, if the next 70 acres to the east gets developed, which is behind, that just opens up 2 more exit points, one on Window Drake and the other one on Northcrest.
Because I would encourage us to have a second entrance, because we saw what's happened at Nolan Meadows, and that's all those, a substantially larger number, but they all come onto that bridge right there, and that's kind of a nightmare. So I hope we can work that out. So,
I guess, Amanda, the 400 vehicles per day, was it just for the intersection total? That's not turning counts?
It was not turning movements, it was just on kind of that end section, east section of Woodhall.
And then should we approve the restriction? It looks like the plan is possibly a concrete median with delineators for the left turn lane going into Salmon Drive.
Correct.
That would block the left turn coming out of.
Yes, it was
Woodhull.
important for both the city and NDOT to have some sort of permanent visual barrier on North Wayne versus just, do we call it a pork chop?
The sign.
At Walmart,
And to give you
that wasn't.
some indication of the length, the barrier started, once you got past the double lane, which you got Myers gas station there, and you got the cemetery, it just really complicated things. The barrier went from 100 feet all the way to 300. So there's, if you think of your traffic as you're coming south to turn into Myers at that light, it backs you up almost to the Starbucks entrance.
I'm supporting this because last time we had this problem was at Walmart. We had to have petitions signed by every student in Angola High School in Fremont to get something there. And it was just a pork chop.
Yeah.
And I've heard rumors of people going south on that, just
Not rumors.
They still do it,
I know they do. But I wanted a barrier there too because I thought it was safer. So I don't have problems with it. I think this is the safest way. Let's always err on safety side. So.
Is this part of the development then? The cost or
Unfortunately.
still under negotiation? I'm not
So
sure.
to kind of give you some history, this isn't, when we were trying to get the approval, we didn't think that we're going to go. Now, I will tell you that when we submitted our plans, this was not part of it. This actually got wrestled back and forth between NDOT and the city and ourselves before this actually was the final determination. But this only popped up 2 months ago that to try to get it off of dying. So the actual traffic studies were just marginal, but they were marginal so far down the road. It's like, okay, do you approve it? And then how do you come back and do something 5 to 7 years down the road?
Can I have a quick question? 7, 8 years down the road, if there is when the residential is developed, do you see any possibility of an entrance on 200?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So once you get the first 16 acres, my guess is whoever acquires that will then take on the next 70,
Okay.
which then extends you over into North Crest, which gets you at another light, and then it extends you onto 200, which you probably wouldn't have a light there, but at least it gets you another exit point.
Sounds like this is a problem, whether Serenova is there or not,
So
today.
now, if you really want to know the truth, the problem happened with Myers
Yeah.
and the cemetery, and Myers saying, I'm not splitting, I want my gas station there. So it got shifted over, and that's what happened. That's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Ordinance number 1800, 2026, an ordinance establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area, DORA, first reading.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion?
I'm just a couple of silly questions. Is there a cost for the permit that the restaurant / bars would have?
There's no cost to the designated permittees, which are the restaurants, bars,
Okay.
except for the cups. Eventually there will be cups that they have to order, but we met with all of them and no one had any issues with that option.
Can a business say we don't want those in my business? Okay.
They can opt out. I mean, they don't have to be a part of the DORA.
So they would have like a sticker or something like on the door?
Yes.
Are there any other communities in Steuben County that you know of that have doors?
Hamilton has a DORA and Fremont has a DORA currently. We're kind of late to the party,
To the party.
to the game, party, yeah.
The process has taken longer than we would have.
Yeah.
We started talking about this a long time ago.
How do you handle the security piece of it? Just out of curiosity.
I'm not sure that it's going to be an issue, and if it comes up, we have an amazing police force that is very close to the DORA district, but honestly, we've spoken with several communities surrounding area, Fishers and Jasper, Indiana, just all over. There's a lot of communities that have multiple DORA districts in their community. Mishawaka, I mean, we've just been all over, and they all say the same thing. At first it's kind of exciting, but it really it kind of fizzles out. So we're
I'm
not
assuming it's gonna be a
expecting.
bigger deal when there's an event going on.
Yeah, there absolutely could be, and there can be temporary vendors that maybe set up for a wine tasting or something if they wanna have an event, but, yeah, we're not anticipating there to be any issue.
Other than the key stakeholders, have there been any other communications outside yet? Like broad communication? I haven't had anybody
For or
complain to me.
against,
For or against, yeah, nobody's complained, so I,
No, we, just being fully transparent, we met with the churches that are near the district. We do not have any that are in the district. So we did meet with the pastors of both of those churches, and they were grateful for our transparency and meeting with them, but they had zero issues or concerns.
I appreciate the fact that you respected the club.
Yes, the Alano Club, we had initially the Door District went a little bit further, but we cut that back just to be respectful
Very good.
of both those churches and the Alano Club. Absolutely.
There'll be signs will be put up.
Yes, signs will be ordered and in place, probably by the third reading. See,
okay, thank you.
once the third reading is done, once it's approved, we have to send the packet to the state, and then we also have to send some of the sign locations to NDOT because some of the signs are on the state road. So, I mean, there's still a little work to be done, but
With optimal procedures, do you think this could be done by the auto show up time?
I do.
3 readings, 30 days, publication.
July. Yeah, we're working on it.
And we have Libby, the owner of Monument here, so we had informational meetings, and several of those bars/restaurants asked if they could come and be in support of this because they felt like they've been waiting and they're excited about it.
Yes,
So
we're excited.
I appreciate her being here.
I think I'm gonna come to every meeting. It's so interesting. I didn't even know I should be here for the bike trail.
There you go.
What a tall
Learn
trail.
something when you come to council meeting.
It gets more exciting as we go on. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Review and determine if Vestal Manufacturing Corp., Vestal LLC is or is not substantial compliance with a statement of benefit for real estate improvements, and if I don't hear any objection, we'll do all 4 of these at the same time. I don't hear any objections. Real estate improvement located at 749 Grove Parkway, Resolution 2017. 712 for 10 years. Personal property located at 2999 North Wayne Street, resolution number 2017-712, 10 years. Real estate improvement located at 2999 North Wayne Street, resolution 2021-802 for 10 years. Personal property located at 2999 North Wayne Street, resolution 2021-802 for 5 years. And as I look up, there's Isaac at the podium. Please, Isaac, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Libby, this is where it gets really slow. No, I'll try to do my best. So actually, these 4 abatements are ones that we continue to monitor across the whole county has 68 that I actually end up doing. These ones, in my opinion, are probably by far the easiest ones because Vestal and its staff is so easy to get a hold of. We were deeply involved in all of these projects. I've been here long enough to where I started the calculation, so there's only a few left that I've not been a part of the start to the final end. The things that I want to make note of, at least on the 2017-712 abatements, they did report that they were going to meet that mark of 100 jobs. They have till the end of the abatement cycle, which is 28-29, so tax year 28, payable 29, to hit that mark. And speaking with Vestal today at lunch, not only do they have current open positions, but they have plans to, if the belly buttons are available, to hire to get them up to that number. On the other 2, which are 2021-802, they've already met their numbers. And I'll also point out the actual payroll versus what was reported on the SB1s. This is a drastic improvement in terms of overall average wage. This company's been making investments in their people for many, many years. They continue to do so. So if you have any questions, those all go to Ken Schneider behind me.
Like
you have any comments?
Just one comment, really. The wage thing really caught me. Because it's starting to show the pressure that our businesses have to compete and what it takes to pay that wage to keep your employees. So that is an eye opener. The other thing is I wanted to say to Isaac, I think that email you sent out that shows us all the ones in the program and how many dollars are really being abated is excellent.
Thank you. So this is because, and I was just telling Ken about this, I just realized there's two Kens behind me. So Ken Schneider. Ken and Ken, yeah. And you had his son, it's Kenny P. So this is an element of the software we added this year. One of its many features that I'm excited about, probably the one I'm quickest to implement, is the calculation of the actual cost savings to the company now. You could label this as a cost savings on the company side. You could label it as a return on investment to the community side, because where you want to pick up is exactly what you talked about. You want to see it come up in payroll. You want to see it hitting numbers of new employment. So when we make these estimates at the beginning of the tax abatement cycle, we're now going to be able to track that all the way through and see how good we're at our math.
Thank you.
Yep. Entertain a motion.
I move to approve.
Second. Ken, you anything you want to add this evening?
Just thank you. We appreciate it. We're very proud to be a member of the community and employ fellow Hoosiers. And we've got a lot of good growth opportunities ahead of us with a lot of projects that are still on the docket that we can't disclose right now, but business is very strong, especially year-to-date business. Orders are up like crazy, and we're kind of getting our butts kicked in a good way. So it's a good thing. But we're doing our best to hire people, and we just appreciate all the support from everybody. Thank you.
We appreciate everything Vessel does for the community, all the jobs they provide, a great employer. They treat their people very well. I go to the annual company picnic. It's amazing how the employees appreciate their job and the strong workforce that you have. So thank you for being a good community partner. With that said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Review and determine if Enterprise Point EL located at 907 South Wayne Street is or is not in substantial compliance with statement of benefit for real estate improvements. That was resolution 2018-735, 10 years. I can't believe it, 2018. My gosh, how time flies.
Yes. So this is a 10-year. This will actually fall off the docket year 2030-31 payable. Real estate's real easy. These are probably by far the easiest ones, because once the building's built, you look at the cost, you look at the assessed value, and you look at the employment numbers, and it's hard to deny it. It's like personal property where you got to go find it out in the shop. So this one's pretty easy to do. They've been marked in compliance for several years, so I don't have much else to add on this one.
Then we approve this.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Once again, we have two of them for Burrell. If I don't hear an objection, we'll do them both at the same time. Review and determine if Burrell Coatings USA LLC located at 401 Growth Parkway is or is not substantial compliance with a statement of benefits for real estate improvements. Real estate improvement resolution number 2019-756 for 10 years. Personal property resolution 2019-756 for 5 years.
So on behalf of Burrell, Andrew Hutchler, could not be here tonight, but this is actually one of those, his first year, I gotta give him an A+ for filling this out, because this company has met every matrix that it's required to meet with years to spare. So 2019-756, which is the real estate side, has until 2029-2030 pay year. And then the personal property was a 5 year. So actually this will have one more year. So tax year 26, payable 27.
Entertain a motion.
I move that we approve.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, review, and once again, we'll do all four if I don't hear objection. Review and determine if Precision Ed Surgical Products LLC located at 1910 North Wayne Street is or is not substantial compliance with a statement of benefits for real estate improvements, personal property resolution number 2018-726 for 10 years, personal property resolution 2022-835 for 5 years, personal property resolution 2024-874 for 5 years, and personal property resolution 2025-893 for 3 years.
Thank you, Mayor. So on this one, working with Deanie Boswell and the team over at Precision's Edge, this is a Marlin company, which is actually owned by Berkshire Hathaway. They've been growing steadily. Coming out of COVID, I think they really actually ramped up. So the first 3 abatements that you went through, they've met all their numbers. The final one, which happened in 2025, 893, they of course still have the total of 3 years to meet that abatement. This will be their first year with this abatement specific. So that will go, the numbers that they're looking at in terms of 24 new employees have not yet been met yet. Answer any questions you might have.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion seconded, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? They are one of the real success stories of economic development and business attraction. We started them years ago being very small, and through successive owners, they've grown the business very big. Very good success story. Okay, review and determine if Fatima Industries, Inc., located at 1305 Ward, is or is not substantial compliance with a statement of benefit, and once again, we'll do 2 of them, for personal property real estate improvements, resolution number 2020-789, and resolution number 2022-826, both for 5 years.
Thank you, Mayor. 2020-789, actually we'll have one more year to report this year, 26 payable 27. So it is about done. They've met all their matrix that they are required to meet per the SB1. The next one, 2022-826, that one, they are short 6 employees, but they have 7 open positions right now at that facility. So well on their way. And that goes till 27 payable 28.
Move it, please.
Second.
Motion is seconded, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Request termination of abatement for Fatima Industries, Inc., located at 1305 Woolard Street. This one is resolution number 2021-801, and it was for 5 years.
This is what happens when we do our jobs right. Specifically my office, so when we go in and check these abatements, we are looking for against real estate, it's easy, buildings. Personal property, we want to verify that that piece of equipment is still there. Fortunately for Fatima Industries, they actually came to us before our VRE visit and said, hey, this piece of equipment that's tied to this abatement, we have sold, we've decommissioned, it's out of office. So we're kind of cleaning up paperwork right now and making this recommendation to terminate. It's the appropriate thing to do, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Wow, Lori's got great timing. Presentation of wastewater collection and treatment facility master plan by Police and Vandenbrink. Lori Young, thank you for speeding your way up. I know traffic was horrible in Indy today.
Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry for being late. Thank you. Thank you.
Libby, this is where it really gets exciting. I'm excited.
Hold on, you may want to exit.
I would feel bad if I left.
Put your seatbelt on and hold on tight.
Find out what happens. This is exciting stuff, but essential, right? We all want our toilets to flush. We want that water to go away. We want the water to be clean and the receipts. I don't know that I can make it exciting, but.
If you got enough.
Yes.
Libby could have one to take home.
But my dad would like it. I'll take one.
You may have my copy. Oh.
What one?
Hey, Make sure you follow along now.
Thank you. I'm Lori Young, engineer with Gleason Van Brink. Appreciate the opportunity to meet with you tonight and to talk with you about the wastewater planning study. So, as you know, we've been working on this for a while, and I'll kind of go through the presentation. If you have questions, we can talk about them as we go, or we can talk about them at the end. But I'll just go ahead, get started here, and everything on the slideshow here. Just scroll down. Okay. Very good. Is in your handout. So just kind of the agenda for tonight, we're going to talk about just generally kind of a high-level review of the planning study. I think you may have a copy of it. It's some light reading, a few pages there. But what we want to do tonight is just kind of give you an overview, help you understand what the factors that were looked at, and kind of how we work to develop a plan for kind of 20-year planning purposes. So we're going to look a little bit at that. We'll look at the collection system, we'll look at the wastewater treatment plant, and then how we evaluated those within the study, and then how we came about the recommendations that are proposed.
Lori, just, who initiates the request for the study?
So the city initiated the request.
Like Jeff or the mayor or who?
Kind of, I think
Amanda?
probably Amanda.
Yeah, it was Jeff and I. So this kind of came about because a developer would come in and say, hey, I want to put in 50 homes and this many commercial units. Can you guys support that at the wastewater plant? And Jeff and I would be like, yeah, we think so. But we didn't really, as we had more and more developers coming in simultaneously, we got to a point of like, how sure are we? And what does this mean if 3 of them come in at the same time? Can we handle that? What does that look like? So that's really where it came from, so that Jeff and I and the mayor, anyone really has this reliable data when developers come in, or when we want to grow, we know how we can do that from a utility standpoint. So that's kind of how this started.
And I saw recommended improvements in cost opinions. Is there some goal out there that this is pointing at? Is that we're gonna get that out of this?
Yes, so through this process, we kind of identified projects and priorities and timelines with the understanding that those things all change over time and that the city really needs to kind of look at these on an ongoing basis. But this is a planning tool, as Amanda said. So kind of incrementally things happen growth-wise in the collection system, then things happen at the wastewater treatment plant and in the collection system in terms of age and deterioration and needing to replace equipment or repair, upgrade things.
So this becomes a pretty good resource tool, Jeff, for you that run your business.
And for economic development.
Okay.
It's huge for us to have something like this, so it's
All right.
very valuable.
I wanted to frame up in my mind the goal of what
Yeah.
this was. You know, you can do a study, but why? Is always,
We have been caught off guard in the past
okay.
by not having the capacity we thought we had and didn't find out until we'd already entered into an agreement.
Yep. Okay.
So we've been stung in the past, so we're just trying to be a little more proactive.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Thank you. And I do want to say, just really appreciate Amanda, Jeff, and the whole city team. Nick, everybody was just really helpful and great partners as we asked a lot of questions. They shared information, and we visited and went and saw the plant. So they were patient with us and getting us caught up to speed on things and helping us understand the situation, operations, and all those things. Okay. So we'll go on, as I mentioned, this, we really looked at kind of a 20-year planning horizon. And again, those things can change over 20 years, but just based on, you know, the information we have today, trying to make an educated guess on how growth may occur, what kind of development has been kind of considered in the city and around the city. So looking at how to serve those areas. And then evaluating the wastewater treatment plant, the individual components, overall capacity, looking at historical flows and projected flows. And so there is quite a bit of detail within the study looking at kind of the different components throughout the treatment plant. And then looking also at those kind of short-term needs and longer-term needs.
So there is an executive summary.
There is,
Where-
yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
The first couple pages, yes.
Okay.
So just kind of at a high level, population projections, there's no crystal ball, but we kind of looked at sort of a range of population projections. So the green has been the historical, that blue line is kind of what the comprehensive master plan growth was looking at, like a 0.41% annual growth. Looking at some of the historical, it's kind of closer to the 0.8 to 0.9%. And then kind of a longer term, or a shorter term, I'm sorry, historical 2010 to 18 was a little bit lower. But as you look at that trajectory, it's increasing in all cases. And one big development could change that significantly. So it's kind of a frame of reference. But the next slide looks a little bit, kind of at where you are in 2024, 2025, with the current treatment plant capacity is 1.7 million gallons per day, and your average has been about 1.1 million gallons a day. So I think you're around 60% on average day flow. And then max day is at 2.5. Looking forward at that 2045, the average, on a low growth would be around 1.25 MGD, and on a higher growth range with expansion of the collection system is more around 1.9. So with the current capacity of 1.7, you can see that will need to be expanded at some point, and based on our current projections. Something else I wanted to kind of note in here is when you get to 90% of your average day design, so when you're at 90% of that 1.7, that's when IDEM would start looking at things. A lot of times it put you on an early warning sewer ban. So because it says you have 1.7, you don't want to go up to that 1.7 and decide, oh, it's time to start thinking about something. So we really want to start planning ahead so that by the time, you're ahead of that growth and have some extra capacity.
Can I ask you a question here?
Yes.
It's got current capacity is 1.7, and its average flow is 1.1. Maximum flow is 2.5.
So the peak.
If the capacity is 1.7, but we have maximum, how many times do we have maximum? Do you have that information?
The maximum happens probably when it rains. When it rains very hard.
That's hard. That's combined sewer.
Plant max is 3.3 million.
I'm sorry?
3.3 million is the plant max.
That's
that
capacity.
it can
Only
produce
capacity.
Take right now.
That's
our
That's
average.
the pass-through treatment max.
Yes.
So that's kind of your peak.
This is our average throughout the year of the max, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't want to operate for extended periods of that. That's kind of a short-term peaking capacity. Yeah. This next slide will look at one of the drivers of this study was really looking at growth around the area. As Amanda mentioned, there's been a number of potential developments considered or around the city. And so we have listed here these future development areas and kind of going from north to south with Pokagon State Park. As you know, that one will be coming online pretty soon. And then there's some commercial and residential properties. On your map, it's those pink areas within or right immediately around the city with different housing. And then at the very south end, south of the city, outside the city limits, is the Pleasant Lake area, which has been, I think, discussed off and on about they have a need for sewer service and, you know, what it would look like if that were to come to Angola. So I don't have a lot of detail of it in here, but it is in the report, just to kind of give you a little bit more depth of what all was looked at here. So the city has a great GIS mapping system, and we were able to work with their GIS mapping system and their lift station data and look at all the lift stations and model the collection system, sanitary sewers and the lift stations to evaluate that capacity. So one of the benefits of this study for the city is that you'll have that model that you can use long-term. You know, if these developments happen, you have an idea of what will be impacted, where upgrades will be needed. If something not on that map happens to come up on the radar, then that can be plugged into that model and evaluated as well.
Okay. And while you're getting ready, when you say the model, plug it into the model, it's, lack of a better word, software Jeff has that he can do himself.
I don't think Jeff actually has the modeling software, but F&B, we have it. So if there's a scenario that you have, then you could let us know and we could plug it in for you.
Okay.
But we were able to help, I think, improve some of the city's data with some of the GIS work that we added and worked in, so that that'll be transferred to you guys to be long-term benefit. So I'm going to kind of dive into the recommendations of the study. So with respect to the collection system, there weren't really any capacity limitations found, you know, currently. However, the biggest probably short-term need is, and what we have identified as phase one, is the Trine lift station. So if you've ever driven by the tennis courts, you've maybe seen this manhole here, and this lift station's not in a great location. And it's really at its limit, I think, in terms of capacity right now in that growing area. So that's really the highest priority, probably in either collection system or treatment plant that the city should be looking at doing in the near term is upgrading that lift station. And that will require a new lift station to be constructed out of the road, and then a little bit of sewer relocation to get it to that point.
I don't think you can overestimate the need or overemphasize the need to upgrade that station. It is, on a case of a power failure, right on the edge of backing up into buildings, right, because of the amount of flow that's going into it. We have just a hair's breadth of warning if something happens. So that is something we need to get very serious about.
How much time does it take to do such an upgrade?
So it kind of depends on a few things. I mean, the design of a lift station would probably take 4 to 6 months to get designed and permitted. And then, you know, bidding would probably be, 2 months, and then you could award, so say 8 months roughly to be at the point of starting construction on the fast track. And that's if the city's able to fund it locally. If you were looking at like an SRF loan or something, that kind of does slow down the process, just working through their schedule with everything.
The university be responsible for any of those costs.
That would be a good conversation to have with the university. It only benefits them.
Yeah.
If they're the single user.
But you got about a year lead time. That's ugly.
Yeah, it is. Mr. Gaff loses sleep if his system of warning goes down and something happens to that station. That is one of his.
On a good note, trying to go in and help us put a permanent generator there to help us.
They've been good partners in the past.
Yeah. Good, great, good to hear.
So the cost estimate, and it is a pretty substantial cost there, and a lot of that's due to the location of where it is and being able to relocate a new lift station and then the associated sewer work to get it there. So The construction cost estimate is around 1.75 million. And then we recommended some contingency of about 350,000, and then non-construction costs to get it, it's that cost to about 2,448,000. Longer term, phase 2 collection system improvements are really kind of dependent upon growth and where it happens and when it happens. So I think those are more focused on in response to need, or when you see those developments moving forward. So we have some phase 2 capacity upgrades. So for the areas, the region number 4 and 6, the current collection system can handle service to those proposed developments or potential developments. And then with the other areas like region 2, 3, and 5, those would require some additional lift station upgrades, pumping capacity upgrades, and some sewer. They're shorter sections of sewer, so that's positive, but they would require some sewer improvements to be able to convey that additional flow.
What is the, Mayor, what's the Nolan Meadows? I'm not familiar.
Housing development out on the northeast side.
Across from the line.
Across from the line,
North of the
okay.
line.
Because Serenova, then is 2 and 3, right?
Yeah, Serenova is further on to the west.
So that's got a timeline already developed.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And region 4 is Sheets's.
Yes.
Yeah.
That area.
There's a number of these we can probably.
Just so we're clear what we're talking about, that Sheets's property, okay.
So then the project that would require the most improvements would be the Pleasant Lake, if that were to move forward with service. And that would definitely require some sewer capacity upgrades, which, you know, would be evaluated further at that time when there's more known information. But generally, the sewer main to the plant from the south side would need to be upgraded to serve that area.
What pressure are you getting from Sea Lake?
Not a lot, we're just in good conversations with them. There's a couple of options that are on the table. We're one of 3 that are viable options to move forward with.
Did they give you a timeline on when their equipment's gonna be?
No, they have not. No, they have not. Hey, Amanda, have you heard anything about a timeline on the Pleasant Lake project?
Oh, he left. The county is under contract with a consultant to do that study.
Yeah.
So they're looking to finish that study, I believe, late summer.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces with this, a lot of unknowns with this.
That's a feasibility study?
Yeah, feasibility, population,
alternatives.
funding,
Okay.
everything is
Okay.
on the table. And then we're one of 3 viable options. Hamilton is one, the Conservancy District they have, and building their own facility is obviously a possible option.
All right. So then this is just kind of a summary of those different phase 2 project cost estimates. So for the Hires lift station and some sewer replacement that would go along with that, and then North Crest lift station and sewer replacement with that, and some upgrades to the Nolan Meadows lift station. All those together are about $2.7 million estimated, and then total project cost is roughly 3.8. Okay, on to the wastewater treatment plant. So through the study, we looked at the treatment plant condition, capacity, operational performance of the different components, and looked at alternatives to address those different needs. Just some photos here, the primary clarifiers, blowers, and headworks. just a quick overview of the design flows, and we talked about this a little bit, the earlier slide, 70% capacity is about where you're at right now. So the current, there's a table there that kind of gives you an overview of what the flows have been, average day for the last 6 years, really. So it's been averaging, it's really been pretty steady, actually been going down a little bit in recent years, which is a good sign that your I&I efforts are being effective and that good diligence in that area, which is important, just great maintenance of the system and continued effort to just really eliminate inflow and infiltration sources when you can. So that's excellent. But looking forward with those, as Jeff mentioned, the peak flow of 3.3 million currently. At the 2025 range or 2045 range, we're looking at about 2.25 million gallon per day and 4.5 peak. This table also gives just a little bit of a summary on what your current design parameters are in terms of waste load. I know everybody's excited about BOD and total suspended solids and ammonia and phosphates, but those are all the things that Jeff has to check every day, see what's going in, what's going out, making sure that the city's meeting those limits. And the city's doing a great job of meeting those limits. But the numbers, I think, we've got kind of what the proposed levels would be, in the future for design purposes. So the treatment plant has, if you've been out to the wastewater treatment plant, you've seen there's a lot of different things going on out there. And so as we talked about all the different things that need to be done, will need to be done, we wanted to make sure that we, focus on the things that Jeff's experiencing every day that need to be prioritized, make sure that we're meeting those needs at the right time. And so one of the challenges is you see some big numbers on this page. And I know that that's a concern. And also trying to plan, like in terms of timing, when will those things be needed to help think through budget, time, schedule, funding. So the kind of the short term, the 1 to 5 year capital needs, we've looked at the primary flow splitter structure. The existing final clarifier needs some improvements, equipment improvements. Chemical building improvements, I think those are actually kind of in progress. The city's been working on that. That's something that they'll be doing primarily in-house, I think. Solids handling and solid storage. So currently you have a belt filter press that's it's earned its keep and it's kind of getting near the end of its life. And so I think one of the things that really needs to be looked at in the next 5 years is replacing that piece of equipment. That's what handles all the sludge, the biosolids that have to be disposed of leaving the plant. That gets the water out. The benefit of getting the water out is the more water you can get out of it, the less it costs to get rid of it, to haul it away and dispose of it. The city has a phenomenal Class A biosolids program where you give away biosolids to the public, and it's really one of the best ones I've seen and very successful, but you can't do that for all of the biosolids. And even for that part, you still need the belt filter press or another dewatering piece of equipment that will work well and doesn't require somebody to babysit it all day long when it's running. So that's one of the components. And of course, as the plant expands, as you get more flow, you're only going to have more sludge to manage. So, whatever biosolids, sludge, dewatering equipment would go in the next 1 to 5 years, we'd want to plan for that to be able to handle the additional flow that you would expect over the next 20 years. And that kind of equipment is you can get its size to meet that range of needs.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to clarify, so giving away the biosolids to the public, that's the composting
Yes, I say that wrong, Jeff.
Just put it
Better way to
in,
say that.
They dilute it before they give it away. There's stuff that goes with it.
I'll go to the public. Why do you get?
That's a great idea.
Well, clarification is important.
It came from them, we're just giving it back.
Let's get compost, yes. Yes.
Could you clarify on this page, the difference between improvements and replacement? I'm
Yes,
seeing on the
yes.
1 to 5 year capital improvements,
Yes.
those to make it more efficient? If a replacement is, it's not doing its job anymore, am I correct on that?
So the existing clarifier improvements are a combination, so the clarifiers are concrete tanks, and the concrete tanks don't need to be replaced, but the mechanical mechanisms inside, some of those need to be replaced.
So I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's a replacement, that's not an improvement.
Right, it is equipment
So
replacement,
so
yes,
it's not really improvement, it's replacement.
yes.
So with that, I think it's a big deal, because if it's replacement, we need to do it because it improves efficiency, it makes sure that it keeps working, because that would be the nightmare for everybody, it stops. But improvement would be just to make it more efficient.
More efficient, okay.
So am I right on that? So we're talking really about
Yes,
replacement.
it really is equipment replacement.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, no, thank you.
And Mayor, just a quick question. How much, can you roughly say how much per year you probably put in the budget for capital improvements?
It varies from year to year, depending on what project he is.
You got a range, Ryan, you even know? I'm kind of curious, put in perspective of how much this is over what you typically plan for.
We normally come up with a 5-year capital plan for our utilities, so it just depends on the year.
And we will factor this into those projections with the financial analysis that Baker Tilly does
Okay.
and gives back to you.
Yeah, there's gonna be a gap, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, what's in the improvement fund right now, just as do you have any idea? I don't.
The amount,
Yeah, do you know?
I'll get it for you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Anyway, what he's doing,
Okay.
and I don't either.
The real question is, typical budgeting does not cover this.
What?
That's where I was going with it.
Our projections do, yes. Yeah, we do put these
You want me to
into
smack him right now?
5-year projections.
Okay.
When Baker Tilly comes in and they do the rate analysis for us and the annual report and so forth.
In this case, they're just gonna become actual, not
Yeah,
projections.
we will put these projections into that and
It's currently just shy of $4 million in the wastewater improvement fund.
just kind of give you a sense of scale.
Yep.
So you said how much?
Just shy of $4 million.
Yeah,
Every year.
No, that's total.
That's
What's there
total,
now.
total cash available in the
it's in
improvement
the
fund.
fund.
So do you have a yearly amount that goes in?
Well, that's what they were saying,
I
depends.
have to run back and get my budget. I don't have the budget number in front of me.
But there's some, it's some.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
We're probably,
Jeff, do you know right off the top of your head?
In between 1.5 to 1.8 roughly every year, and we do about a
Budget.
quarter to half of what's on the list.
Absolutely, yep.
we,
So some of it.
No way you can get everything done. It gets moved out from year to year through a five-year outlook, and some goes on.
Something happens.
Yes.
Sure, okay.
there again, the amount that goes in per year varies also. We had a couple of years of a lot of interest coming in, so that increased that, but we probably transfer about anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million a year.
I think Jeff just threw another topic up there, Larry. Do you know where I'm going? He just said if they can get them done. Is this realistic to getting these done in these years?
So I think, this is all perfect discussion, I think, and leading to how you plan to move projects forward. And there's some on the list that may be able to be done locally, like the chemical feed, or the chemical building improvements and equipment replacement in the chemical building right now. That's a project that the city's able to do in-house. So I think as we look at this and we may select certain components that say this may need to go into a capital improvements project that is a bonded funding, that may be something you want to consider. Or is it something that, in 5 years, the city is able to accumulate funds to accomplish some of these bigger projects? And I think that's the challenge, but also this is a tool to help make those decisions and working with your financial advisor and
Undoubtedly, these projects would be prioritized
Yeah.
on what is the most. Let's talk about the lift station down on Thunder Drive. That is getting to be a priority, yes.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And we can talk about that a little bit more at the end too, kind of in funding options and how to kind of right size if it is decided to pursue like a state revolving fund program, you know, kind of how you select and prioritize those.
When we, occasionally, we will get, okay, well, this project needs to be done now. If you do a bond issue, your underwriting costs are pretty well fixed regardless of how much you borrow. So it makes it advantageous to borrow more sometimes if you're gonna take on debt. So now you start looking down your list of, okay, what are those priorities that we need to take a look at? And those are in those 5-year, 10-year plans that Jeff works on and the forecast and the financial analysis forecast. Okay, thank you.
So the sludge storage handling, or the storage expansion, that truly is an expansion. The city currently has a small covered area where they're able to store the biosolids before they're disposed of or used with compost or composted. But it's a pretty tight area. It's really small, and it would be helpful if they had more capacity for that, especially combining that with improved dewatering equipment. So those are kind of the 1 to 5 year range priorities. The 6 to 10 year priorities are a blower building. The city has a kind of a combination of blowers that are, some are challenging, some are older, harder to get parts for. It would be very nice to have a central blower building with newer technology, more efficient blowers, easier to access, and also provide more flexibility in how the air is used at the different parts and pieces of the wastewater treatment plant. So aeration is a big component in wastewater treatment. So that is a priority, but it was kind of put in that second tier of 6 to 10 years. Some electrical improvements are needed. Some of the electrical components of the treatment plant are fairly old, so that was kind of put into the phase or the 6 to 10 years. SCADA improvements, and I think the city's talked about this over time, is also still a priority. That would include kind of the lift station, SCADA, that's your remote monitoring. It tells Jeff and his team if lift station's having trouble, somebody needs to come take care of it, or it lets them see there's an issue, but it's not a priority. We don't have to send somebody out in the middle of the night. It also helps, it really helps process control. It helps in all different kinds of things. It helps efficiency in treatment. It helps monitoring. So it's a key component, and the technology with SCADA is always improving. So what happens is over time, it's harder to get replacement parts. It's harder to get all the old components to restore the SCADA systems. So that definitely needs to be a priority. The equalization diversion structure needs some improvements as well. And the RAS and WAS, that's the return activated sludge and waste activated sludge pumps, should be planned for replacement. And that's kind of one of those discussions that we had that, you know, right now that's in the 6 to 10 year range, but that's something that could move up in priority over time. Those are critical pumps, and we've got them out there based on age really, but, and the city's done a great job maintaining those, but they're essential to the process. Okay. And then kind of longer term are the primary clarifiers. That's the first place the water comes to after, as it comes into the plant after the headworks. And then administration building is a longer term need. It'd be nice to have office lab kind of space for the staff there. Any questions? Okay. So the wastewater treatment plant expansion was kind of put into a phase 2, and what I would I reiterate is that in these first phases, or the projects we just talked about, that would be proven to size those for also to be able to handle that expansion. So blowers, either size it or design it such that it's ready for that future expansion capacity. So in order to expand the plant to meet those projected higher flow needs, that would require a new clarifier, so an additional clarifier tank, primary clarifier, a new final clarifier, a new digester tank, expansion of the SCADA treatment plant, or the SCADA system, sorry, that we talked about, that's also needed. And then we had biological capacity, so that's the extended aeration treatment capacity expansion, and electrical. Potentially, there's a newer generator at the plant, but with an expansion, there may be additional electrical demands higher that would require additional backup power.
So Laura, you did say the slide previous, those improvements of phase one, in preparations for this phase two. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, so like the solids handling, we would want to go ahead and size that to be able to take care of things, the blower, building.
Yeah, so all that, so these figures include kind of that expansion piece, and then these are the new components to actually service.
Yes, yes.
Imagine what it's gonna cost in 20 years.
I know. Any questions on?
You've done a nice job spreading it out so we don't fan it.
These,
We couldn't put it all on our page.
these phase one or phase two proposals deal with our overflow problem at all, or is that all the separation of sewers?
All of it.
All of it helps there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps to be able to better handle the flow at the treatment plant.
Any other questions for Lori on this amazing subject? Debbie, that'll be exciting.
Love it. Interesting.
Anything else you'd like to add to this particular subject?
I don't think so. If you'd like to talk about, I know I gave you a lot to talk about or think about. So, longer term planning, next steps. If there's questions you want to talk about tonight, you can, or if you'd just like to kind of chew on this a little bit, and we can follow up another time if it's things you'd like to talk about.
Laura will be back in the near future because the next item on the agenda. Certainly.
When you did your analysis in terms of this, was there any thoughts regarding the city's chloride issue with IDA?
No. So they asked several times on that, and
Who asked that?
Lori and
Okay.
her team, and we chose to keep the VO subjects separate because they're really separate items that we'll get to on action item 12. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Called foreshadowing.
Anything else? All right, Lori, would you like to talk to us about the request approval of professional service agreement with Fleece and Vandenbrink for the water utility master plan in the amount of $63,600? We're basically gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna look at our water capabilities.
Yes, so similarly, like you said, we look at the system much the same way and take a look at modeling of the water distribution system, so that additionally you could look at what additional flows in different areas would look like. It would also help you to analyze fire flows, and I think it would be a really great tool for the city long term. And then also planning, looking at the long-term needs for the distribution system and the water treatment well supply.
Same Verizon, like 20 years. Yeah.
Yes.
Another great economic development tool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right out there.
You're just giddy over there.
She is so giddy that she is taking some money from her budget and helping pay for it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Because there is an economic development aspect to it. So not only will the water utility, but also economic development will one part of this study. Amanda, anything else you'd like to add before we have some for approval?
No, essentially everything you heard, if you approve this here again on the water side, so instead of Jeff and I being like, I don't know, currently Mitch and I are like, I don't know. So we can clear all that up on the water side.
Mitch knows.
Are you ready?
Standing by.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, now, Dave, to get back to your question, request approval of professional service contract. Lori, thank you. These guys are getting that way, the getting's good.
All right.
Can I go with?
Libby, here's your chance.
I know.
Seriously.
I need to hear about this next item though.
Okay. Request approval of the scope of work memo for chloride technical support with GEI Consultants in the amount of $22,300. We are still working with IDEM, and GEI did a study for us years ago with the chloride issue, and we are basically refreshing some of the data to use with our arguments to IDEM. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
This is at IDEM's request to provide new data and update the data. So we have a working group for chlorides, and we have a group at IDEM that we meet with. And so they've requested this as one of the potential pathways to solve this chloride problem. Another potential pathway is not one that IDEM has been vocally excited about. So we want to go down this pathway first and see if it's viable. So this data would be necessary.
They can use it for the wastewater treatment.
It really wouldn't change the treatment. So you can't take chloride out of the wastewater. That's why it really is not a part of Lori's problem. So
History teaching, not
You
science.
don't know about
So this
environment.
site specific that we're going to, we're trying to change the number. So Jeff has a number that he has to meet, and we're trying to increase that number.
So this is a refresh of the presentation we had about a year ago, when we talked about the inability with current processes and things and everything else. Yep, I think it's great.
The original study was how long ago, Amanda? It wasn't last year, it was,
At least 6.
Year 24.
yeah, several years back was the original study. We've been fighting this issue for an awful long time. Anyway, entertain a motion on,
Move to approve. Second.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Request approval of professional service agreement between the city of Angola and the Indiana Department of Natural Resource to provide water, wastewater services to Pokagon State Park. Amanda, would you like to brief us on this?
And there's really two parts of this agreement that are kind of the crux of it. One is this agreement establishes the rates that Pokagon will pay for their water and sewer. And so those rate and fee structures are in this agreement. And then it also cleans up the ownership and the maintenance. So as you know, this Pokagon project under contract is a City of Angola project. And we are doing work within park property. So we want to assure that when this project is done, the ownership and the maintenance transfers to the DNR for those appropriate infrastructure pieces. So that cleans that up. So those are kind of the two main areas of this development or this agreement.
It took quite a while to iron out all the details of this particular agreement. There were some sticking points for the city of Angola and there were sticking points for the state, but we eventually did solve all those issues and we're now ready to move forward.
They're on board with this if we approve this. Mayor, there was one
issue one item that I asked to be changed, which it was not changed. And if this were a contract with a private developer, I would probably strongly recommend that it be modified to conform with what I think it should say. Since it's the state of Indiana, I don't think it will be an issue, and I'm not too worried about it. That is paragraph 22, which says that any lawsuits must be brought in St. Joseph County, Indiana. That's absurd and ridiculous, and just boilerplate that they picked up, modifying earlier agreements.
Of course, Potato Creek.
The reason they picked St. Joe County?
Creek is in St.
It's
Joseph.
convenient to them at one point in some contract with somebody and
Mayor,
just got
it's-
brought
it's
over. I
in
objected
St.
to
Joseph
it.
That's where Potato Creek is, that it's leftover language.
Yeah.
We missed that, it's leftover
I
language.
did not miss it, Mayor. Yeah, just not, they
Well,
wouldn't do it.
You wanna hold off and see if we
No.
can change it?
You could either scratch it out and put Steuben County, but I don't think it'll be an issue at all.
I think it was the
I wouldn't
Potato
worry about
Creek, because they kept confusing Potato Creek with this
Yes.
project, and we had a lot of language crossover that.
Yeah, I would not worry about it. It's
All
not,
right.
it's not that important
It's up to
in
you.
this agreement.
All right. Yeah, Councilmember Coffey, did you have anything else?
No, I had the same question that Mr. Shout did, but I thought. any place
I guess I
Marion
missed
County is
that.
Steuben, but not St. Joseph.
Yeah.
If we approve this, and then the rates are determined for wastewater and water from the state, what happens if we have to raise water and sewer rates for the citizens of Angola?
So this agreement lasts for 4 years, and then after that, it goes on a year-by-year basis for another up to 5 years. So within the first 4-year agreement, the rates won't change. After that, then it's mutually agreed upon between the city and DNR.
When Baker Tilly did the initial study, and those have been presented, where they came up with these rates, and that the rates that they came up with were intended to run for the term of whatever the agreement was to begin with, so.
Are the rates comparable with what a resident pays?
No, it's a different rate.
Is it higher, lower?
It's a wholesale.
It's a wholesale.
Okay.
rate.
I understand. Just wanted to know.
Yeah.
So then after the 4 years, once we have actual data on the utilization, will that be built into our rate study analysis to get the wholesale rate for the next year and then the year after and then the year
That's certainly
after?
something we could request of Baker Tilly and would, knowing.
So your answer is maybe. It depends if we raise the question.
And the water and sewage rates only apply to Potawatomi and Pokagon, not anybody who would add on and jump
Just-
into our.
Just Pokagon State Park. This was part of the original agreement with them.
Okay.
So just the one question I had was the renewal component. So we have it for 4 years right now, and then it can be renewed for a year at a time, up to 5 years after. Then what happens? Just a whole new.
They get water from somebody else.
I don't know. I guess that just struck me as odd, but I'm not as familiar with these type of partnerships.
This is our first experience with this as well.
There's a term limit then.
So we start negotiating with them, they decide they no longer want water? Just saying.
I'm just,
Yeah. Kim, you think it's okay except for that one change? And you think we can get that changed?
Pardon?
You think we can get that changed?
Yeah, what changed?
St. Joseph to.
No. I don't.
Deal with bureaucrats.
I've never approved that kind of language in any other contract for a school or the city
Right, but
with private companies, but.
They're being hard heads because they're bureaucrats? You think that's what it is?
No. I'll tell you how it all happened afterwards, but it was a mess and it was cut and paste and that's what they said, like, have at it, and just got lost in the shuffle. I don't think it's significant or important.
Can we, then maybe we should indicate that when it comes up for renewal, we get that changed.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a burden on us.
Likelihood of a lawsuit is probably low anyway.
That's what I was, yes.
Well, just in case, I mean, it does indicate this is our county versus going to South Bend. I move we approve the contract.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion, you who it was?
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, request approval of the interlocal agreement between the Indiana Department of Transportation and the City of Angola, Indiana, concerning an HMA overlay and sidewalk project along State Road 127, also known as North Wayne Street. Randy, you want to give a quick?
Yeah, so this is an agreement between NDOT and the city. So this is the partnership project that we have been working on since 2020. NDOT's doing an HMA overlay. They're redoing Wayne Street. We are doing a sidewalk installation, and then we are also doing a water main replacement. So there's three components of this project. So this is just the interlocal agreement that hashes out city's responsibilities, NDOT's responsibilities, and then the cost and payment structure of that.
Is there any of that you don't like, or?
Yeah.
I don't like the payment timing. And so we pushed back with NDOT and had lots of conversations on that. It went all the way up to NDOT legal. NDOT legal said, this is our stance on it.
Typically, you do one of these joint projects where they do part of it, we do part of it, but it's all one project. You pay as you go. It is a project. This time they requested, or I suppose we could say demanded, pay at letting, which means our portion of the project we have to settle at letting is what they want. Which means as soon as you accept the contract, you pull down the entire amount. We thought that basically that's a prepayment of services, and we did not like that.
Does that mean that if there's a variance, that they cover it?
No. Change orders we cover.
Only on the city's portion, or is it on the overlay as well?
On the sidewalk portion or the water main portion.
We get to decide, or they decide for the sidewalks at?
The design's done.
I know, the sidewalks on the east side. Yes. I just want to be clear, I've been screaming matches with you.
We're looking at each other like.
The sidewalk is on the east side.
Yes.
And there's gonna be appropriate, median stops in the middle for people getting across. They can't get across 4 or 5 lanes of traffic at a time. That's just.
There will be pedestrian crossings at the 3 signalized intersections.
I've been a big fan of going to Shipshewana because they have those right there. If you've been to Shipshewana, they have them right there in the middle of the street. So it's like a landing.
There are not landings.
No landings. It's just good luck. Hope you can get across.
Well,
There will be pedestrian crossing.
They're signalized.
I understand, but it's still.
But the difference in the signal light will be a pedestrian will have some timing involved now to get across. That'll be the difference.
So I guess question on the payment, and then again, the term of the agreement. So it's for 5 years, this agreement, but it will immediately terminate if the project's not completed within 3 years of the letting date. So if something happens and it's not completed, do we forfeit the money we put up front and then we don't have a project at the end?
It's a good question.
The boilerplate, Kim, or what do you think? Is that boilerplate language, or like they're saying 3 years and you're out?
Probably boilerplate from the state, more like, I would term it, attornment language, which means take it or leave it. This is the way we do business.
Which is basically the answer we've been getting on the.
There's more of that all the time.
Yes.
But I would also think if we don't get this project done in 3 years, there'll be pitchforks and.
Oh, yeah.
Are they ready to go forward this year or next year?
The scheduled letting is November of this year.
So it's next year.
All right.
With construction to start.
So they're not using our money for free for 3 years, drawing the interest on it.
Correct.
The last question they had of us are we prepared to move forward? They were asking us if we were getting cold feet about moving forward with the project, and we've answered them, no, we're ready. We want to keep moving forward.
Yes, I want this project complete.
Yes,
Also, just for your there is a little bit of an issue with crossing the railroad. We have to work along with the railroad to get across their properties, not right away. They own the property, and there is a little bit of kickback there. Amanda's been talking to them and continues talking to them. It is getting very expensive to cross their portion. And I haven't reached out to them yet. Amanda's been dealing with it. Hopefully she'll come up with a good solution.
Amanda, this project, Bill Boyer started working on this. How long has this been going on?
So I applied for federal funds in 2019.
What's the rush?
And
This is the biggest single request we get from citizens. When are you gonna put a sidewalk on North Wayne Street? This is the biggest.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
So this project solves it, and it also solves one of our most problematic water mains, because Mitch loves to go out there, particularly right around January 3rd or 4th when it's 20 below, and dig up North Wayne Street. He loves doing that. But that water main.
It's January 27th, Mayor.
The one question I had about the railroads, is there an issue about how to get over or under a train while it's going by, or what can you do about trains?
no.
Wait for them. Yeah, I know.
So as part of this project, to fit the sidewalk, we're actually narrowing the lanes and shifting the lanes
Yeah.
so that the sidewalk can go on the east side. And so when you do that and cross the railroad, their lights have to be over their lanes. So all of that has to be moved. We also have to have lights on the sidewalk so a pedestrian knows that a train is coming and they're not relying on the roadway. So there's improvements that need to happen because of the sidewalk.
The argument, who's gonna pay for it?
We are going to pay for it. Yeah.
Okay.
But you already knew that the train,
It's not an argument who's paying for it, it's an argument how much you pay for it.
Yeah.
but you already knew that train went through it, left its tracks.
Oh, boy.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Mother.
No dad jokes. It is too late.
Wow. Any other discussions? We entertain a motion if there's none.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any more discussion on this particular issue? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Report, clerk treasurer.
Nothing from you, Mayor.
Kim.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Rita. Libby, you got any report? No, you don't.
Next meeting.
No report, Mayor.
Jeff, or Midge, I'm sorry.
Nothing, Mayor.
Amanda. Chief.
No, sir.
We're on that without any problems. What's the next? Request approval. Accounts payable voucher 79,606 through 79,811, totaling $2,165,461.73.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any other new business?
Just one.
Uh-oh.
I have somebody that contacted me, and it's regarding waste pickup by the street department. And the question was, this is not me asking to change anything. I'm trying to find out information. The question is, why don't we pick up grass clippings? And do we have an ordinance or something that applies to that, or is it a policy or procedure that's with the street department or what's picked up?
Let's have a conversation with Chad, if you don't mind, since he's not here this evening.
Well,
Let's talk to him.
Okay, and the other question is, with grass clippings, is that a liability to the city?
Let's have a conversation. Let's talk to Chad about that.
Yeah.
Get the answer firsthand from him, please.
And then for me to get off the record, the reason I want to know that is because there are a lot of people putting grass in the streets. And if it's a no-no.
You don't want it in the street. The street ends up being a problem because it gets into the stormwater collection system, and then ultimately we have to clean it out.
Yep.
So we do not want it in the street.
Okay, thank you.
Let's make an appointment. We'll talk to Chad and he'll answer all your questions. Yes, sir.
Just a question. Beautiful sidewalk over there by the friendship or the park.
Oh, the new one,
Yeah, by the way. But the question I have, is there gonna be anything between the street and the sidewalk?
There's no physical barrier that I know of being planned.
There are delineators that will be installed.
Okay,
for a portion of it, like where the trail is right by the road. There's delineators and then it veers off and there's separation, so there wouldn't be.
Okay, but where it's next to the road.
But no, really solid.
Okay.
I mean, if car goes off, it goes off.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're glad to have that. We finally make
Looks nice.
the fountains is now walkable back to the Sheets Family Park. Anything else? Hearing none, the next council meeting will be Monday, May 18th, and it promises to be just as exciting. We're gonna have more stuff for you.
Oh, one more.
Yes. A lot of beers, so it'll go a lot faster.
Take it out.
Nice.
Ryan, thank you. Have a good night, sir.
Someone, you popped out of that seat.
No, I know he's got to turn